Hello? Hauntline Studios? I'm not really sure if I should be calling this in, but something followed me home that night. And I think it's because I said something I wasn't supposed to say. My name's Marcus Mercer. I'm 29. I live in a small town just outside Boone, North Carolina. I work remote, IT support mostly, nothing crazy. My life's been normal, quiet. I'm not religious, never really was. My family is, though, especially my aunt's side. And that's where this started. About 3 weeks ago, my aunt called me out of nowhere. Her voice sounded off. Not crying, not panicked, just drained. She asked me if I could come over that evening, said it was about my cousin, Eli. Now, Eli's 17, quiet kid, bit weird growing up, but nothing serious. At least, that's what I thought. When I got there, the house already felt wrong. You ever walk into a place and immediately feel like you shouldn't be there? That's what it felt like. The air was heavy, like before a storm, but everything was still. Too still. My aunt didn't hug me when I came in. She just grabbed my arm and pulled me inside, like she didn't want the door open too long. That was the first thing that bothered me. She kept her voice low when she spoke, said Eli had been acting strange for about a week. At first, it was small things, talking to himself, not sleeping, saying he heard someone calling him at night. Normal creepy stuff, right? But then he started answering back. I asked what she meant by that. She just looked at me for a second, then said, "Not like he's talking to himself, Danny. Like he's having a conversation." That's when I heard something upstairs. A voice. Low. Not loud, but clear enough to know it wasn't just noise. I asked if that was him. She didn't answer. She just nodded, slowly. Then she said something that made my stomach drop. She told me they had already called someone. A priest. I remember actually laughing a little, not because it was funny, just because it didn't make sense. Like, that kind of thing doesn't happen in real life, right? That's movie stuff. But she didn't laugh. She just said, "He'll be here soon. Please, just stay with us." I should have left right there. I think about that a lot. The priest arrived around 8 p.m. His name was Father Luis Ortega. Mid-50s maybe. Calm, quiet. Didn't look dramatic or anything. Honestly, he looked tired, like he already knew what he was walking into. When he stepped inside the house, he stopped, just for a second, like he was listening. Then he said something under his breath in Spanish. I didn't catch it, but my aunt definitely did, because she started crying immediately after. We all sat in the living room for a few minutes while he spoke with her. I couldn't hear everything, but I caught words like progressed quickly, invitation, responding. Then he turned to me, asked, "You're Daniel?" I nodded. He looked at me for a second longer than normal, not in a rude way, just studying. Then he asked something strange. "Have you spoken to him yet tonight?" I said no, I had just arrived. He nodded, but he didn't look relieved. That's when things started feeling worse. We went upstairs together. The hallway felt colder than the rest of the house. Not freezing, just wrong. Like the temperature didn't belong there. Eli's door was slightly open, and I could hear him inside. He was talking again, But this time, there were pauses, like he was listening to someone respond. The priest held his hand up, signaling us to stay back. Then he gently pushed the door open, and I saw Eli. He was sitting on the edge of his bed, back straight, head tilted slightly down, smiling, but not at us. At the corner of the room, there was nothing there. Still, he was focused on it, like someone was standing there. The priest stepped in slowly, started speaking softly, not shouting, not dramatic, just calm. Eli didn't react at first. He just kept smiling. Then, without moving his head, his eyes shifted straight to me. And I swear, I felt something in my chest drop, like that moment when you miss a step going downstairs. He looked at me like he knew me, better than I knew myself. Then he said something, quiet, almost like a whisper. "You came." I didn't answer. I couldn't. The priest stepped between us, started speaking louder now, different tone, more firm. And that's when Eli's smile disappeared. His face just dropped, flat, empty. Then he laughed, not loud, not crazy, just wrong. And that's when it started. The priest began the prayer. Eli started reacting. At first, just twitching, then shaking, then speaking. But it wasn't him. The voice didn't match. It was deeper, too steady, too controlled. And then it said something, a word. I didn't understand it, but it sounded old, heavy, and without thinking, I whispered it. I don't know why. I didn't even realize I did it at first. It just came out, like repeating a word you just heard. That's when everything stopped, completely. Eli stopped moving. The priest stopped speaking. Even the air felt still. Then Father Ortega turned to me, fast. His face changed. For the first time, he looked afraid, and he said, "Did you say it?" My heart dropped. I didn't answer. I didn't have to, because Eli started smiling again, slowly, and this time, he wasn't looking at the corner anymore. He was looking directly at me, and he said, "He heard you." The priest grabbed my arm hard enough it hurt. Then he said something I will never forget. "Whatever happens, don't repeat anything it says again." I nodded, but it was too late, because something in that room had already noticed me. And when we finished that night, I thought it was over. It wasn't, because when I got home, around 11:47 p.m., I heard something in my room. A whisper, low, calm, and it said the same word, but this time it didn't come from Eli. It came from right behind me, and I was alone. I didn't turn around. I know that sounds stupid, but something in me just froze. That whisper, it wasn't loud. It wasn't aggressive. It was calm, too calm. And it wasn't in my ear. It was close, like right behind my head. I remember standing there in my room, keys still in my hand, door half open behind me, and just thinking, if I turn around, I'm going to see it. So I didn't. I slowly stepped forward instead, put my keys down on the table, acted like nothing happened, like maybe I imagined it. That's what I told myself, that I was just shaken from everything earlier, that my brain was playing tricks on me. I went to the bathroom, washed my face, looked at myself in the mirror, and for a second, everything felt normal again. Until I noticed something. My reflection wasn't breathing the same as me. It was subtle, but I saw it. My chest moved, then a half second later, the reflection followed. I blinked, and it snapped back in sync. I stared at myself for a long time after that, trying to convince myself it was just stress, just my eyes messing with me. I didn't sleep that night. I stayed in the living room with all the lights on, TV playing, phone in my hand, anything to keep my mind grounded. But around 2:30 a.m., that's when it started again. The whisper. From the hallway this time. Not behind me, not inside my head, from outside the room. And it said the word again. Slow, clear, like it wanted me to hear it properly this time. I covered my ears. I know that sounds useless, but I did it anyway, like if I couldn't hear it, it couldn't reach me. Then something worse happened. It started saying my name. Not yelling, not threatening, just calling. Daniel. Pause. Daniel. Each time, closer, like it was moving down the hallway. I grabbed my phone and called my aunt. I didn't even think. I just needed someone to answer. She picked up on the third ring. I didn't even say hello. I just said, "It followed me." There was a long silence. Then she whispered, "Don't respond to it." I said I wasn't, that I didn't say anything. And that's when she asked, "Did you repeat anything it said earlier?" I couldn't answer, because we both already knew. She started crying again, told me to call Father Ortega immediately. She gave me his number. I called. He answered on the first ring, like he was expecting it. I told him everything. The whisper, the voice, the hallway. He didn't interrupt me once. When I finished, he just asked one question. "Did it say your name, or did you feel like it knew it?" I said no, it said it, clearly. Another pause. Then he said something that made my stomach twist. Then it's not just attached, it's aware. I didn't even know what that meant. I just asked him what to do. He told me, "Do not acknowledge it. Do not speak to it. Do not repeat anything it says. And most importantly, do not let it inside willingly." That last part didn't make sense to me, because I was already inside my house, and whatever that thing was, it already felt like it was inside too. Around 3 a.m., everything went quiet. Too quiet. No whisper. No footsteps. Nothing. That scared me more than the voice, because it felt like it was waiting. I must have passed out at some point, because the next thing I remember was waking up on the couch. Morning light coming through the window. TV still on. Phone on the floor. For a second, I felt relief, like maybe it was over, until I sat up and saw something on the wall. Words written in something dark right across the paint. Not random, not messy. Clear, careful. The same word, the one I repeated. My hands started shaking. I don't remember standing up. I don't remember walking closer, but I was suddenly right in front of it. And I noticed something else. Under the word, there was another line, smaller, and it said, "You said it first." I felt sick, like something inside me dropped, because I knew that wasn't there before, and I lived alone. I called Father Ortega again, told him everything. He didn't sound surprised this time, just tired. Then he said something that changed everything. It doesn't need permission from him anymore. I asked what that meant, and he said, "You repeated it. That's acknowledgement. That's invitation." My chest felt tight. I asked him if it could hurt me. He didn't answer right away. Then he said, "It doesn't want to hurt you." That should have made me feel better. It didn't, because then he added, "It wants to replace something." I didn't understand. I didn't want to. But later that night, I started to, because I caught myself standing in my room, facing the corner, the same way Eli was. I don't remember walking there. I don't remember standing like that, but I was, and I felt comfortable, like I was supposed to be there. Then I heard it again, right in front of me this time, not behind, not far away, close, and it whispered, "Say it again." My mouth started to open. I didn't want to. I swear I didn't. But it felt like something inside me was moving first. That's when I realized something worse. It wasn't trying to get inside. It already was, little by little. And the more I heard it, the easier it got to understand. The word didn't sound strange anymore. It started to feel familiar, natural, like something I'd always known. And that's what scares me the most, because I haven't said it again, not out loud, but sometimes, when it's quiet, I catch myself thinking it perfectly, clearly, and each time I do, I feel something in my chest shift, like something is making room. So yeah, that's why I'm calling, because I don't think this thing is following me anymore. I think it's learning how to be me, and I don't know how much of me is still here.
If you love the slow burn of fear, the stories that creep under your skin, subscribe now. Don't fight the darkness. Let it follow you.